something to pay attention to on the ground for our viewers, developments in the north. If Hezbollah truly gets involved, it will be a signal of how much Iran wants to escalate this conflict even more. Here to help us answer that question is IDF spokesperson Lieutenant Colonel Peter Lerner, live from Israel. Peter, thanks for being here. Let's start with that point, because we're hearing reports of increased conflict in the north. What's your assessment right now as your troops are arrayed of the situation in Israel?
Yeah, it's an extremely delicate situation as we speak. And indeed, the border with Lebanon is extremely volatile, and we've had some exchanges there. I'm just getting some reports of several mortar rounds that were actually fired from Lebanon towards the forces on the ground. So I'll follow up during the interview and try and get some more information for you. Yeah, the situation is as such. As we're conducting our strikes against Hamas, their infrastructure, their leaders, their terrorist infrastructure, their base of operation, their fortified terror hub, it's becoming extremely difficult in order to separate the two arenas. We're doing that effort because we believe that we need to be focused on the main front, Hamas, changing the paradigm in the Gaza Strip so that Hamas can never, ever butcher our babies in their bedrooms. And that is currently the situation. As we move and look forward towards the north, indeed, Hezbollah is a very substantial terrorist organization that is holding the people of Lebanon hostage. They have some 120, 130,000 missiles and rockets pointed in our direction. So it's a serious problem.
Lieutenant Colonel, what is your level of expectation? We talk about this spiraling into a regional conflict. You have the hot spots, as you said, on your northern border with Lebanon. Obviously, there are threats beyond that as well, whether or not they come from Syria or all the way from Iran. As you posture, as the Israeli military is posturing itself for what comes next, how seriously do you have to prepare for all of those threats?
I would say 300,000 men and women seriously. We recruited a huge amount of reservists, unprecedented in the history of Israel. And I think that goes to show how serious we are, that we need all of this manpower, women power, to fulfill our mission on defending the state of Israel. So many of those are now obviously focused down south towards the southern arena towards Gaza, but also many of them are defending the frontier with Lebanon and also with Syria. With also this week, over the past few days, we've also had a few mortar rounds from the Syrian side of the border and into the Golan Heights. So yes, we are preparing ourselves for that reality. We have I would say we have a vast spectrum of tools in our kit box, and we are ready to defend the state of Israel if needs be.
Lieutenant Colonel, how do you balance the defense, even the retribution for what happened in those communities along the border, the massacre that happened, with the lives of the hostages? Because I presume that in preparing for this now ground invasion and some of the other actions that have been taken militarily, that might actually endanger the lives further of the hostages.
So our operations now in the Gaza Strip are focused on maybe three main issues. First of all, specifically targeting Hamas's capabilities. So we've taken out, in the last 24 hours, Ali Kadi, who was one of the leaders who penetrated our border. He's been killed in an airstrike by our forces. We are focusing on their special capabilities. They have drones with explosives that they used to attack our positions on last Saturday. And so we were able to take out those capabilities. We're targeting their command and control position. And indeed, when we look at what the enemy we are against, the type of people we're up against, I want to share with you something that we found on the body of one of the terrorists that we killed in the exchange. This is, I don't know if you've seen it. There has been some video, but it was this flag, and I don't know if you recognize this flag. So when Israel is saying this is Hamas is ISIS, this is what this guy was, this terrorist, this butcher was carrying in his pack. So we know who we're up against, and that's why when we are talking about balancing the needs, we know we have to take this enemy. We need to defeat this enemy. And we also need to balance out, differentiate the civilian population from the terrorist organization. And so this morning, and since yesterday morning, actually, we have instructed the people of the areas of the northern Gaza Strip, where the core hub of Hamas's control and command systems, where their leaders hide, where they're hiding now. We've instructed people to go beyond in order to differentiate between the terrorists and the civilian population that are not involved. It's a serious, serious challenge.
Yeah, it's very scary. I saw the pictures of those terrorists holding the baby, and I can imagine if I was the mother, I don't care about anything except bringing my baby home.
No doubt. And Colonel, real quick, we know you've warned the civilian population to leave. We know Hamas has told people to stay. If a ground incursion were to happen, would the Israeli army treat anyone in that area who's on the street as a potential enemy combatant? Is that when you think of rules of engagement, how do you deal with an enemy that also drops their uniforms and dresses like civilians? How do you manage that?
Well, obviously, that is the challenge of urban warfare and fighting a counterinsurgency and a terrorist organization that hides itself beneath the houses, in the schools, in the courtyards, in the hospitals, in the medical facilities. This is the challenge, and of course, that is what they will try to do. We have very good intelligence. We have strong understanding. We've picked up some of the footage that they've distributed it in the aftermath of the attack or during the attack, during the massacre. And we have been able to identify terrorists and target people that have already participated in the attack and take them out because we know how to get to them. So I would say, yeah, the current situation is one where we need to differentiate. It is a huge challenge. The people of Gaza themselves are not the enemy. Hamas is the enemy, and we need to destroy Hamas's capability to use the Gaza Strip as a place to govern terrorism from. And that is what we're up against.
Well, Colonel Lerner, thank you so much for being with us this morning on Fox and Friends.
Thank you.
And Godspeed.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.